Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2020 of the Nav.it Files. I'm your co-host, Maia Monel, and here with me, as always, is my co-founder, Erin Papworth.
Hello.
Hey, Erin. Guys, girls, everyone, we are so excited.
Yes, it's so weird.
We are so excited to launch Nav.it Files 2020. We are so excited for the new release of 2.0. If you've been with us for a while, you're in for a real treat. And if you haven't yet downloaded the app, I don't know, you can either wait a couple of weeks and download the new version, or you can start getting a sneak peek of what the updates will look like to come if you download today. Either way, really excited for everybody's feedback there. What we're going to do is, we know we are getting a little bit long in these 15-minute daily segments, so we're going to change things up as we love to iterate and grow. So these weekly kind of recordings are going to be happening Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so 3 times a week, and we're going to start off our weeks as we are here on a Monday talking about our self-care and what we're doing to support ourselves along with the work that we're doing this week. And we're going to end the week with everybody's favorite topic of real talk, because you know that by the end of the week, we'll have had some real shit to walk through. All right. So, Erin, without further ado, what are you prioritizing for yourself this week?
So I made a big decision over the Christmas break that between all of the things that we need to do for this business and living in Seattle and being a mother, I do not have enough time to get to classes that I really like to get to work out. So I made a decision to get a Pelaton, which I know I texted you. I was so excited.
So excited.
It is beyond amazing. I am addicted. I have now done it every day that I've had it. It is so good, and it's exactly what I needed. Like, it might not work for everyone, but it is 100% what I wanted. You can do any minute, like 20-minute, 30-minute hit, beginner, whatever. And then they have like these 10-minute arms that you could do. I mean, they even have other things like yoga and stretching, blah, 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 blah. But I can fit it into my day exactly when I want it to be. It's super positive. Like all of that, like it's a whole shtick, right? Like you go in there and they're like your cheerleader. They're like, but they're pushing you. And it makes me really happy.
It makes me so happy that you're now going to be on this like exercise train with me every day.
I'm on a mission. It's crazy.
Where did you put it in your house?
In my basement. Yeah. My kid has a playroom down there, and it used to be my office that then became his playroom. I'm taking half of it back.
Good. I love it. I think you should. I similarly Santa gave me a mirror for Christmas. So
yeah, I saw the advertisements for that.
It's so freaking cool. Because I live in an outdoor environment. So if I'm going to do cardio, I'm going to go outside. But I love doing yoga, and I love it. And I'm not like standing on my head every second. I'm not like an advanced yogi, but I do know what I'm doing to a certain extent. So I don't necessarily want to pay $35 for a class and go 3 times a week. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Yes. So I'm really excited about my mirror that, was gifted to me, so I didn't have to pay for it, which was
I know.
And
I have a life hack. I have a life hack if someone isn't going to give that to you. Do you know a firm that we're working on a partnership with them right now? Right. So this is amazing. Every navigator should think about this. Even if I had the money, I didn't want to cough it up. So they do this zero APR financing for 39 months. Yeah. And it's literally like you pay it off. And so the only thing you're actually paying for is the $39 subscription monthly. And you get the
one Mary's class.
It's one. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, all the kind of possible classes that you can, it's 30, and you get that, thousands of them on this thing. At any point, you can take it on your phone when you travel, it's literally, you can even log into other Pelotons when you travel, right? And find your profile and all that. So it's like definitely financially also something that I felt was also wise.
I love it. It's such a good goal to start out. I feel like it's so like overused that fitness is like your, you know, your New Year's resolution, but
Yeah.
it's not necessarily that. It's like consolidating your activity so that you know you can fit it in all the time. Like I love
I
that.
think that's it. Like for me, it's the lifestyle of like I was intimidated,
Yeah.
but after, you know, it's we've lived here now for 3 or 4 years. It's like I just have to be realistic that my lifestyle is not the type of lifestyle that I can just go to the gym whenever I want. And literally the most time I have to work out is after 7:30 p.m. when he's in bed
Which
and
is
I
when
can't
you
leave.
shouldn't be working out for your sleep hygiene.
Right. That's a whole nother thing. But if I put him to bed and work out at like 7:45 and then I'm done by 8:30 and then I have, you know, an hour and a half, like it, I mean, sacrifice.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just wait.
I'm such a morning workout
They're
person.
more, yeah, see, that's the thing. Well, the problem with, well, not to digress. The problem in the morning is that the morning is not about you in my world.
Right, exactly. I hope that the morning will always be about me in my world.
I mean, you could organize your life so it could be.
Yeah.
It just means you
Well,
have to
the
get up.
mirror
Like,
would
I'm
help
not
with
willing to get up.
that.
Yeah, I'm not willing to get up at 5 or 5:30.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Sorry.
Okay, well, I have a quick one, but one that I think is kind of fun to note. So I'm just back from the sunny shores of Maui. We took a bit of a hiatus to a family house there, which we're really blessed to be able to go to. And so I did some work on the beach. I did some reflection on the beach. And I also, you know, it's like you're in the sun, right? So at 2:30 hits and you're like, oh my God, it's nap time. It's like siesta
Yeah,
time. But I don't, per sleep hygiene, since you all know by now that I'm a horrible sleeper, I can't nap because it like I then can't sleep.
it messes up everything.
So I went to the Seattle bookstore in transit down to
Yeah.
Hawaii, and I saw on the bestsellers list this new, she's a Scottish mystery writer.
Sorry, this is a snow day. Can you say
Hi.
that, everyone? Hi. Yeah.
What's up, Hayden?
Go. Go. Something. No, go. I will be done. If you interrupt me again, you don't get anything. This is time. We're doing this recording. Goodbye. I said no. Thank you. Sorry.
That's okay. I love a visitor.
No day.
So I found this author. Her name is Denise Mina. Denise Mina is wonderful. She's the author of a new bestseller called Conviction. And like, who doesn't love a murder mystery on the beach? You know, I'm reading like all of these marketing books and all of these like work related things. It was really comforting to just set your mind to a story and like an experience that has nothing to do with work and has nothing to do with your own life. And I'm going to now try and see if I can at least read like 20 pages. She's written like 13 of these books. So I'm going to at least try and see if I can read like 20 pages a night of something fun and lighthearted and that I enjoy, and that it's not like watching TV where, you know, it's not auditory, right? Like you're actively just reading something. It's oddly calming, even though it's like a murder mystery.
Well, and so my question is, does it fully pull you out? Like, I mean, you were on holidays. So here's my question to you. Give yourself a week. And will it, like, maybe completely detaching from reality will really calm you and give you, you know, like get you out of your head.
Well, because I used to be such a huge reader, like I was a literary major, blah, blah, blah. I love to read and I love to read stories. Like I don't like to read like nonfiction if, you know, it's not work related. Like I'm not gonna, even though like I love fitness and health, I'm not gonna read a book on fitness and health. Like, I'm gonna listen to a blog or read a blog or whatever. Like if I'm gonna invest in like 400 plus pages, it's gonna be a murder mystery.
It's gonna be really good book. I love it. You know, one of my favorite like memories as a child is accidentally stumbling upon a murder mystery. Now I don't even remember what it was, but it was so well written. it took me into a whole new world. And I was so on the like edge of my seat the whole time. I remember thinking like, I just had like 2 months of heaven, like reading that book.
Right. And, you know, I think it's, especially like, you know, you're busy, you live with somebody else. Like I live with you. I think you're constantly inundated by other people to like be alone in your own imagination for even 20 minutes.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Amazing. Okay. So in the notes, write down some of your favorites.
Okay. Of the books? Of my favorite
murder. Yeah. Murder mystery.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yay.
Okay, so I want to jump in because, of course, it's the new year, so we're allowed to talk.
We're allowed.
First episode. Skip through this and see the show notes for timestamps. But let's dive into our main theme of the month, which I'm super excited about, and use this episode. Basically, all of our content is around goal setting for
Yay.
this. Erin, talk to us a little bit about the behavioral research on goal setting.
Yes. Okay. I do love this topic, and we are going to drop a podcast on it at some point in the next, a little while. So I've been researching it more. But there are a couple things to goal setting. So one of them is you have the ability, which isn't even goal setting. It's the reality of behavioral science, which is you literally can make new neural pathways in your brain at any time of your life. Like it's not just in childhood where all your neurons connect and you grow up, right? Mm-hmm. You can ask a question. I feel like you're like, wait a minute, what's happening?
No, keep going.
Yeah, okay. So the thing about goal setting, and you can create new neural pathways, and when you get older and when you leave school and you don't have to be necessarily learning constantly new things, when you're in a job, whatever, you stop creating new neural pathways until you do new things, until you create new habits, right? Or until you start learning something else, right? So part of setting goals as adults is something incredibly beneficial for the prevention of Alzheimer's, dementia, because you're continuing to think about how your brain can set a goal, achieve it, change your behavior, which is essentially changing habits, which is essentially changing neural pathways that reiterate and build that muscle, which is your brain is just like your deltoids, your biceps, you're building a muscle, right? So, and then once you start doing it, again, I think they say it's about 23 to 24 days of repetition to really truly create that new neural pathway and the habit, which is the habit.
Yeah.
And then you really you ultimately see the benefits. So then you start seeing the benefits after you've started this habit and the repetition, you see the benefits, and then it's reinforced psychologically, oh, it's working. So then you keep doing it. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's a really incredible, and goals in general, are just a great thing to use to kind of start baby steps in shifting where you want to go. And if you're happy, great. But if you have little things you want to shift, everyone has something they want to work on, right? Even if it's, being nicer to my son and every day, making sure I say one nice thing to him, or, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be about money or about fitness. Yeah. It's just those little basic things that literally you are creating a bit better brain, which is so cool.
So that almost kind of gets a little micro into scheduling or checklists or planning per day, right? Because when you think about I use this productivity planner where it sets out okay, the most important things about your week, the second most important things about your week, and then the additional shit. And then each day within the week has the most important shit you have to do. And that, you break down. So you're forced to allocate you're only given a certain amount of lines. So you're forced to be realistic with your time, which I really need help with.
Yeah.
And so I kind of set it aside because we were just so busy. It was the holidays, blah, blah, blah. And so I came back to it yesterday and I was like, fuck. I'm so overwhelmed. I feel like I haven't done this in a year, let alone 2 weeks.
Yes, exactly.
And so I'm jumping back into that and trying to relearn how to goal set for the next few weeks, and not just our kind of marketing space, but just for me more broadly.
Yeah. So what's so amazing, I mean, I'm so proud of you, one. And number two is, and that's exactly like, we talk a lot at Nav.it about being patient with yourself and practical, right? So like, you can't be perfect every day. You can't hit every single goal every day. Like there's going to be a day where, something happens and you had to do something else that you weren't
find
planning.
a new author and then you're in Target buying an iPad trying to get 13 of her other novels.
It was not part of your financial plan for the month, but yet.
Yeah, Nav.it was like, you shouldn't do this. And I was like, well, fuck it.
Yeah, right, because that's human and that's normal. Right. And also and the thing that's so beautiful about that Nav.it is that you're in control of it, right? So you do that, but then you adjust somewhere else, like it's just part of the truth that that's your money and you can do whatever the hell you want with it. Right. Just be aware of the consequences of how it works.
That, you might slide on a credit card debt next month.
Right. You're like, oh, this is a painful, I'm feeling that way this month. Like, this is a very painful credit card purchase because I was dumb enough to go down to my family for Christmas. The last couple of years, I've avoided that by having them come to me. Yeah. But now, then when you go down, you have so many more people to see.
Well, when you travel too, you're like forced to spend.
Yes.
You're like, oh, it's holiday.
Like, we don't have food. You're in the airport. My kid's hungry. Like, what? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, but we have a plan. I have a plan. Like we haven't eaten out this, like, kid, I'm making you chicken every night. Like,
yeah. Well, and that's something like our goal, speaking of goal setting, and like maybe we can do it tomorrow or Wednesday on this too, is like John and I have now incurred a ton of expenses from moving into a new house in the last couple months. And it's stupid shit. It's like buying all the cleaning products in the world because you need them all. Like you're like, oh, I need the Swiffer and the miniature Swiffer and the hand Swiffer and like all these things. And so, we're like, okay, since we have a really great grocery store here, we can buy all those things and buy the food. And so we just have like massive grocery bills and we love to cook. And so we're trying to figure out like, okay, how can we not feel like, I don't know, we're eating cereal for dinner, but like, how can we cut back on some of our grocery expenses? And like, surely that should happen naturally now that we've bought literally everything but the kitchen sink.
Right.
But like these things add up. And I think, we kind of forget about those expenses that you incur when life events happen. And that's, we're trying to dive more into at Nav.it, but then how can you like go back in and adjust to make up for what you lost in the last few months? And I think that's all about setting goals. It's like, well, if we want to, cut down our expenditures by 25% this month, like that's a goal.
Yeah, totally. And
my question to you in that 28-day cycle is it going to take me 28 days, which is a whole nother month, to figure out how to hit that 25% less mark?
No. So it's initially, the first and foremost thing is of any sort of behavior change is self-awareness. So number one, you're aware you want to cut back your expenses. Like, boom, that is like a huge step there. That is like one of the biggest hurdles.
Admitting you have a problem.
Admitting you have a problem, or admitting that you have something you want to work on. Let's not say problem. Like,
I might have a spending problem when it comes to food.
I mean, Chris, like this season is really hard, right? So admitting that's like, okay, there's your goal. And then setting up different things to do that while allowing yourself the flexibility to I fail, like, isn't the right way to say, like, learn lessons along the way. So let's say you say, okay, in the next month, I want to reduce my spending by 25%. Mm-hmm. You do a look and you say, okay, here and here is how I can do that. Like maybe we eat in, or we don't eat quite as fancy food when we eat in, like maybe we don't buy the $20 bottle of wine, maybe we buy the $15 bottle of wine, right? Like,
unfortunately, booze isn't the cost. It's like actually food, but yes, I hear you.
Okay, all right. So maybe you don't need to buy this like steak like the whatever premium steak. You're going to be much more eloquent at this than I am. But maybe you think, okay, like maybe we do steak once a week instead of 4 times a week, and do chicken and fish the other nights that are a little bit cheaper, which still taste amazing. And there's such validity in when like then you achieve the goal, you eat well, and you can still, save your money. And then if you want it, like, let's say okay, you really have this big spending on the food, Is there some other place where you're like, okay, well, maybe I skip my pedicure this month and I go to do the pedicure next month? You know what I mean? Like, it's just little things, because it's 28 days. There are two different types of, well, there are multiple types of goals, but there are two different types of real goals. Like, one is a specific goal with a measurable, statistical outcome. Like, I am going to spend only $1,000 this month,
right.
And then I can measure if I do that or not. And then you penny pinch and you only spend that much.
Right.
Versus, that's also the weight stuff. I want to lose 20 pounds. I can get on a scale, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Because it's all around the theory of like basically depriving yourself of something.
Right. And often it only works for the time you're motivated to do it.
Right.
So like let's say this month you're motivated, but next month you're like, that was so hard, screw it. Or that's like the typical diet thing, then you don't eat carbs and then you pig out, whatever.
Right.
But there are these higher level, and this is what we talk a lot about Nav.it, of like, life structural goals, let's say it that way, which are, I am like you right now in this money thing. It's like, it's not that I'm only going to spend $1,000. It's that this month I am going to be more conscious of how I'm spending my money and where, and I'm going to try and reduce to a certain degree. So basically, if you're like thinking about that every day, or if you're, if that's, maybe you write it on your productivity planner, right? Like, just be aware of the cost of things today.
Right.
And then over time, you look at just that shift in mentality and that goal that you've set for yourself, and coming back to it every day. Right. I guarantee you by the end of the month, you'll be like, hey, I saved X amount of dollars, or I only spent this much money, right? So it's like, you can have some people really do well with statistical, like really focused outcome goals, but the majority of people do really well saying, what is their intention with a goal? Where do they want to go? What's the reasoning behind the goal, which is to save money? And then working backwards on a daily basis of, okay, how am I going to think about that goal today? What am I going to do about it today? And then you get there.
I love it.
Does that make sense?
I love it. And I'm really excited to dive more into this topic in our podcast episode, which is launch of season 2. So when we record that, and once it's live, I'll add it back into the show notes for those of you who are a few weeks behind. But I think it's a really interesting topic, and I don't think that people or brands or whatever give it enough of a thought. Like, I think that it's really easy to say, like, okay, set goals, deprive yourself, like hit your target in 2 months, and like, whew, we did it.
No.
But that's not how your money works. That's not how your mindset works. That shouldn't be how your money mindset works. Like, it's not a feasible like construct, but for some reason it's like the fast action. It's like the quick diet fix or the quick anything fix. And like, you always need to figure out where you can treat yourself basically to feel better about the things you're depriving of yourselves.
Exactly. And then it's self-defeating.
Yeah. We'll get into it. I'm really excited. Stay tuned for the next 2 episodes this week as we dive further into goal setting, and for that end of the week episode on Real Talk. Until then, leave some comments and feedback. We love to hear from you guys, and we'll speak to you soon. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.